Welcome everyone, we're back in the testing chambers. 2 hours last time. I hope that today I can finish this off. I have set myself aside and said 2 hours. I plan in 2 hours for that already. If it takes longer, we're gonna have another break in between, because that's kind of where my limit starts. And if we actually finish it before that, I'm just gonna be happy about it. But 2 hours is what I have set for myself. So let's check everything around here out. A mysterious altar stands, there was the butterfly, before you. Upon the altar rests a tattered diary. The first page seems to be ripped out. The parchment material used in this diary seems familiar. Perhaps the missing page could be reconstructed if one were to find enough pieces. I have a lot of torn pieces. The demonic stone figure resides in front of you. It appears to have a space for something at the base of the statue. Well, let's place something on the statue. You don't have anything to place there. I don't? Shame. I would imagine that because it's just ripped pages and everything. So I would... Can I somehow... because I have the... I cannot use them apparently. So I cannot use that. I don't know why I have all of that stuff. I'm just walking around with it. Questions! No journal made of thick animal skin. Let's continue on with the questionnaire. Do you ever have dreams that you could swear are real? I had once a dream that was very vivid, and it was like... It actually connected really well to where I was at the time, because I was at my aunt's place and we slept over there, and in my dream I woke up and I had the full day. Like, I woke up at my aunt's place, my parents came, they picked us up, we drove home, we had the rest of the day at home, did stuff and everything, went to bed there and woke up in my aunt's place again, just at like lunch. And I was really confused about that. So that is one example of a dream that I have that I swear was real, but was not. Other than that, I don't really have dreams like this, but I'm gonna go for a yes still, because I have that one dream that I had when I was very little and I still remember it today. In the past, when you felt positive or happy, have you ever experienced an immediate sense of negativity that just sucks all of your happiness away instantly? I had that, yes, because I had severe depression, self-hate, and yeah, did not like myself a lot. So yes, I had that. I say severe. Was bad. But yeah, I had that. If you were camping alone in the woods at night and you heard a woman scream, would you investigate? Alone in the woods at night. Interesting scenario for me to go there. Hi there, butterfly. I'm not sure. Probably yes. Probably yes. Because if I am alone in the woods at night, I probably have some other tools with me that would help me out if something bad would happen. So yeah, I would investigate. If you were alone in your home at night and you suddenly heard the sound of children laughing, yet there was no one to be found, would you continue to stay in your home for the night? Yes. Because the reason is, I live in an apartment. And there's children around as well. It happened. I think it even happened after I finished a horror recording once, so... Sure. If you were camping in the woods alone and something kept unzipping your tent, yet you couldn't seem to figure out what it was, would you continue to stay in the woods? I hope I have something that I just can close that with. Again, I'm camping alone, I probably am prepared. I just locked it somehow. No problem, yeah, would still stay. Because going out seems like a bad idea at this point. If you saw your neighbor putting a dead body in the trunk of the car, would you attempt to stop them? Yes! I would love to know what the heck's going on there. If you were driving home at night and saw a naked woman on the side of the road covered in blood, would you stop to help? Now that's a good question. My first instinct says yes. My second instinct says I would call the police and say, hey, I just drove by a naked woman on the road that was covered in blood. But, I mean, isn't this like first responder? You have to get to that, make sure that she's alright. Yeah, sure, I'm gonna do that. If you ever fast asleep in your bed, only to be awakened by an unseen force grabbing you and shaking you violently, would you attempt to get back to sleep once it was over? No, because at that point I'm awake and I already have a tough time falling asleep, so at that point I would have such a high adrenaline spike that I just would stay awake at that point. If I were in an empty grocery store and a strange man appeared suddenly started sprinting at you, would you turn and run? Strange man in an empty grocery store. I would turn, run, hide, and try and see if I cannot get the jump on them. So yeah, I would turn and run. If I were home alone sitting in the bathtub and suddenly the lights turned off in the bathroom and the door began to unlock and slowly swing open to reveal no one standing there, would you get dressed and leave your house immediately? You're asking really stupid questions right now, because these are supernatural questions where it's so incredibly difficult to know what the fuck you would do. Okay, I'm in my bathtub. For some odd reason I have my door locked, which I wouldn't have if I'm alone. Why would I lock a door if I'm alone? I don't do that, but let's just imagine I do that. Door locked, it starts unlocking itself and swings open, nothing's there. And I would sit in my bathtub, and it's dark, by the way. The lights are out, so I just see and realize that and not be like, ah shit, I should get out of the bathtub because it's dark now. Something popped the circuit, the breakers or something. So the answer is yes, I would get out of the bathtub and get dressed. And if that all, yeah, I probably would leave the house as well. But I would get out of the bathtub to begin with because the lights are out. I would not stay in the bathtub. If you had to resort to cannibalism in order to survive, do you think you could do it? Sorry. Had something in my throat there. If you were stranded on a boat in the middle of the ocean, do you think you could survive long enough to be rescued? Stranded on a boat in the middle of the ocean. The thing is, what is long enough in that case? I'm somewhere on a boat in the middle of the ocean. What kind of boat are we talking about? I'm gonna say yes, most likely I would survive. But also, if it takes longer than a week, I'm fucked anyway, so I don't know. But I think I could try to hold on. What is long enough in your case there? Have I ever thought about what it would be like to burn to death? I actually had that thought once I got a really bad burn on my hand. I was like, yeah, that would suck. But yeah, I thought about that, and it's one of the most horrible deaths you can have. Would you consider yourself to be a morbid person? I can be morbid, yes. One final question remains on the page. It's bolded and outlined in red. Are you satisfied? With these questions, no. In general, yeah, I'm pretty content right now. That's really what it all comes down to, isn't it, Wanderer? Are you satisfied? Satisfaction is the death of desire, you know? You finish inking a final answer into the journal. Swirl and form into a symbol, and boop, there we go. I hate those questions so much. Hey there, small flutterby. Pentagram-like symbols rest on its back. Anyway, I walk away. Old dusty clock, dried candle wax. And 3:33. Oh, now you're all poofy. And you have you lay the token at the statue's feet, hear a voice in your mind. Courage is not being fearless, for there is no courage with the absence of fear. Courage is being afraid yet acting anyway. Are you a courageous soul? I'm gonna say yes to that, because I had a fear of heights and still worked as an industrial climber. So yes, I imagine myself being a courageous person. and being... Oh my gosh! It's an encrusted crystalline petal! They doth love you? Not. Well, get fucked then. And what do we have? Handprints appear on each side. The words are... Yes, future and present. I want the present. And what do I get? I get a magic mirror. Probably gonna get in handy. What do we have here? Coins? A massive golden chalice filled to the brim with gold coins rests on the floor. Upon further inspection there appears to be an indentation at the base of the chalice, as if it has been moved from its original location. What would you like to do? I'm just gonna leave you. A wooden grave marked. Let's read what it says. Here rests greed. Greed is a hungry mouth with an insatiable appetite for more. In the absence of satisfaction for what one has, they will crave and they will continue to eat, until they have dug their own graves with their teeth. Rest in peace. Agreed. Well, let's see what the heck's going on down there. A mysterious altar stands before you. Upon the altar rests a tattered diary. The first page seems to be ripped out. And you begin to piece together each torn journal page that you've collected from previous rooms to form a full page in the diary. Is it a crawl? Final entry. An empty sky leaves our prayers in vain. A solemn swear through darkened window panes. We confess our sins of flesh and blood, for we're buried deep and swept away by flood. Our ashes carried in the midnight wind, a bitter vow we wish we could resign, sinned, a fallacy of hope to raise your spirits high, for we are dropped below and left there to die. An appraisal of words judged by our peers, a sign of affection as they wipe our tears. They bottle our blood and drink our sweat to build a future we don't deserve to get. And if the first come to claim us all, the few brave souls that refuse to fall will echo through the walls of eternity to a future that the lowly won't rise to see. We chase the demons of the past to build a kingdom that will never last. Upon sweat and tears, blood and bone, we build a new place to call our home. Signed, the Madman. Again, I'm back in action. I took a long break from this game, so I'm good with the crawls again. I still hate them with a burning passion, not gonna lie. That's like the worst thing for me so far in this whole spiel here. The fact that nowhere you can find how long this game is, or this experience. But that's besides the point. Oh, that was definitely interesting. I'm gonna go over here. Let's kerchunk our way through the door. Interrogation room. Okay. You think you hear what sounds like someone flipping through pages in a heavy tome. You can't quite figure out where it's coming from, and you don't see anyone else with you in this room. Successfully saved. Small flutterby, tiny noose sits around the neck of the butterfly. Oh, sorry, no. Oh, noose, by the way. One half of a noose rests on the table. The loop has been severed from the rope. And one half of a noose rests on this table. The rope has been severed from the loop. And an old dusty clock sits on the wall. A piece of rope is wrapped around the outside of the clock. Does that mean I can hang myself on the... whatever. 444. Aye. Oh, hi, who are you? It's pride. Pride will always come before the fall, and will always create long distances between two close people. Pride seeks to break us from the inside, but I assure you, no one has ever choked from swallowing their pride. Oops. Envy, gluttony, greed, sloth, lust, wrath, and pride. All things that grow within, all things we cannot and mustn't avoid entirely. They all have their place and they each have their uses. Everything in life is about balance. Exceeding the bounds of moderation builds a tower upon an unstable foundation, and we shall watch our kingdoms crumble if we stack them too high and heavy with any one of these. Rest in peace, Pride. Well, that was nice. A blood-soaked journal sits atop a wooden table. It has a long list of questions with blank spaces for answers to be written. Let's go. Help? Let's see what we have. Do you feel a darkness inside of you? No! I mean, there is darkness inside of me. It probably would be unhealthy if there wouldn't be darkness inside of me, but I do not feel that, so no. Have you ever felt like you were destined for more than where your life has taken you? I was destined for greatness! I wasn't. I'm destined for whatever the heck I wanna do. Have you ever been so afraid of the future that you just stopped trying to progress? No, I just go forward. Have you ever considered that you might have a fear of failure? Nah, otherwise I wouldn't be here. I was afraid to start a few projects in my lifetime, like especially YouTube. I pushed that one away for a long time because I was nervous about starting it, but there was never a fear of it wasn't going anywhere, because I always thought I was just gonna try and do this for fun. I enjoy doing this, and I enjoy sitting down and playing games and entertaining people. So it was never about failing and not getting anywhere with the channel, which, by the way, we're over 600 subscribers strong now. Thank you all for being here. It means the world to me, for this being just a fun thing that I do more than other people probably do, just as a side thing with so many videos. Anyway, I wouldn't do it if I wouldn't love it. Let's just say it like that. And it was never about achieving like maximum subscribers or anything. It was always just about getting together, sitting there and having fun with whatever nonsense I'm doing. So I don't have a fear of failing, but failure is an option as well. Because if it doesn't amount to anything and I fail to actually make a living out of this, it doesn't matter, because I will still be here doing this because I love doing that. And that goes for other things that I'm doing as well, like drawing and stuff. I'm not amazing at it, but I just love sitting down doodling from time to time because it's fun. It's not about making something big out of it. You don't have to make something big out of it. Sometimes you can't do stuff just for the fun of it. Anyway, I don't have a fear of failing. Have you ever considered that you might have a fear of success? No! There's just certain things that I don't want to deal with. But I don't have a fear of success. Do you value honesty above all else? I do. Do you have a set of morals that others might consider questionable? Yeah, there's probably some things that people might deem questionable, but I think overall I have a pretty good moral compass. There might just be a few things in there that people might consider questionable, but overall, not so much. But I'm still gonna go with yes, because I'm pretty sure there's a niche there where people might not agree. Do you follow your own moral code? Yes, as much as possible, I do, yeah. Do you believe that standing for what you believe sometimes means standing alone? Yeah, that's a sad truth. Are you afraid of where life may take you in the next several years? Nah. Probably into the grave, the way the word's going. Are you suffering inside right now? No, I'm suffering outside. Do you ever wish that your words would fall onto ears that weren't so deaf? Yes, that's a truth. That's a true thing. Do you ever feel like no one listens to you? Nah, I have people that listen to me. Do you ever feel like you can understand others quite well, but others cannot understand you? No. Nah. Are you afraid of the unknown? There's a certain dread to it, but it does never last. Because my favorite example for that is if I try to comprehend what death feels like, I feel like a knot in my stomach forming. But I take a deep breath and this feeling leaves, and it's just like gonna be dead. That's it. So there's not a fear, there's a certain dread to it, but not a fear that is rather controllable. So no. Are you afraid of running out of time as your life comes to an end before you've managed to accomplish all of the things you wish to accomplish? No, because if I'm dead, then I'm dead and it doesn't matter anymore. Because if you think now about if I die now, I would miss out on finishing my favorite show. I would miss out on seeing my child grow up. I would miss out on finding my first love. I would miss out on so many things in life. To be totally frank, you're dead. The chances of you thinking about all of that, if you just were to die like pretty spontaneously and fast, are not that high. I mean, there's people that have to go through this, like thinking about all of the things that they might never, will never see, because there's things like cancer that will keep you alive long enough for you to kind of sit there and regret the things that you never were able to do. But I mean, death is the great equalizer. In the end, once you're dead, there's nothing that you're gonna miss anymore because you're gone. So I'm not afraid of things not being accomplished for me, not doing the things that I would love to do, because once I'm gone, for me personally, it doesn't matter anymore. So no. Are you afraid of surviving while your loved ones perish? No, fascinatingly enough, not. I would be terrified if I would be immortal and everything around me dies, even the universe, and I would still be around. That is something that I would be afraid of. But just being the last one to live out of my whole friend group and family group, it would suck and would surprise me, to be quite frank. But I'm not afraid of that. Because if that is the way things go, then that's how they go. And I'll just be there and remembering them fondly. Do you have a fear of abandonment? No, I don't have that, thankfully. Do you carry around a lot of heartache from your past? No, thankfully not. Do you harbor resentment for others who have done you wrong? No, thankfully not. Would you say that you have some regrets in life? I think everyone has. If you could do it all over again, would you do anything different? Just for the sake of being where I am right now, the answer is no, I wouldn't do anything different. For the grand scheme of things, I would love to be able to do things differently. One of the things I would do differently is start YouTube once I feel the urge that I want to do it and not push it away like an extra, what was it, 4 or 5 years until I finally started my first video. But overall, no, because I love kind of where it is right now. Don't know. Are you proud of who you've become? Yeah, mostly. Now, at this point in time, I am. Ask me that question like 3 years back, the answer would have been no. But now I am happy. Do you feel like your choices and circumstances in life have made you who you are? Obviously. Do you wish you could have been treated more fairly by others in the past? I mean, I think everyone kind of would wish for being treated more fairly. Do you strive to treat others better than you might have been treated? Yeah. Do you ever wish you could help more people? I wish I could do that. You sometimes wish you could more easily help yourself. That would be amazing. Yes, please. Do you look forward to where life may take you? Not really. Because I'm not someone who is like, I wonder where life will take me ultimately. I wonder where this whole thing will end up. I'm just kind of there doing it, and yeah, we'll see about it. I just wanna keep doing that. I'm not looking forward to something. I'm here and think about, let's have some fun right now, or like in 2 weeks for some of my videos. And I just wanna create something that people can enjoy. And that's it. There's not the big plan for the future that I look forward to on being on billboards like Markiplier and doing movies and whatnot. No, there's just this feeling of, I want to create now, I want to make stuff, and I want to have fun with this and hopefully spread some joy around with it as well. That's what I want to do. So I'm not looking forward to where life may take me, because Wherever it will take me, I'm gonna be fine with it. Or dead. Do you ever feel like you aren't living up to your full potential? Yeah, at times definitely. If you knew that following your dreams would end in certain success, would you do whatever it takes to pursue and to achieve them? We already had the question and the answer is no, because if pursuing my dreams and getting to success would mean to step over others to get my own success, I would not do that. I would try to take a more rational approach towards things and maybe see what would come of it, but I would not do whatever it takes. I would do what I can agree upon with myself that is right. Don't know. If you could travel into the past or the future, but never return to the present, would you do it? Nah, I'm fine. Have you made peace with your past? For the most part, yes. Have you made peace with your current circumstances? I have. Are you afraid of what conflicts may arise in the future? Yes, actually. There's so much going on in the world, so there is stuff to be afraid about. If you could work twice as much as you do now and reap twice the amount of benefits from doing so, would you do it? If we talk about YouTube, 100% would double down on that. Not for the benefits, but I just wish I could do more for YouTube. And for Twitch. If I would be in a situation where I could do more, I would do so much more. I think there would be so much more energy behind all of that. So if I could work twice as much on just specifically what I'm doing here, then yes, I would do that. Benefit, anything that comes out of it, I don't even care about. I just want to do more of this. Do you ever wish that you could be forgiven for the wrongs you've done? Isn't it upon myself to get forgiveness and not just wish for it? So I don't wish for it, I have to earn it. Do you sometimes blame yourself even when things may not be your fault? Yes, I am hard on myself still. Do you feel that others place the blame on you more often than they should? Nah, not really. Would you enjoy an entire month of solitude with no communication with the outside world? If that would mean missing out on doing my YouTube stuff and all, then no, I would not enjoy that. Do you wish your life turned out differently thus far? No. Are you proud of what you've managed to accomplish? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with what I've accomplished so far. Do you feel like you could have accomplished more than what you already have thus far? Probably, yeah. Have you ever felt like you're wasting your potential in life? Probably, but I don't care. Do you ever get the sense that you have a hidden talent or undiscovered potential just waiting to break free? No, because I'm pretty aware of the skills and everything that I have. And yeah, there might be something hidden in there, but there's, with me doing so many different things in life, a high chance that I might find it and just do it eventually. So I'm not concerned about that. So no, I don't get the sense. I'm just going with whatever feels like fun. Have you ever felt like there was something special and unique about you that you just can't place your finger on? Yes, I'm fabulous. No, I have not. Do you have a difficult time trusting others? No. I'm not the most trusting person, but I don't have a difficult time trusting. Do you ever get the sense that your mind works differently from others? Doesn't everyone's mind work differently from the person next to them? Because we all have different ways of approaching certain things and getting to the same rationale. So yes, my mind probably works different than your mind. Or your mind. Probably yours as well. But that's not something bad. It's just normal. Have you ever wanted to make other people happier than the world has made you? I mean, I wish I could do that, so yeah. If I told you that everything is going to be okay, would you believe me? Nah. Sorry, I'm too cynical for that. The found page entry of the journal, the rest is a small token between the pages. You have acquired a wisdom token. In the back of the journal there seems to be one final question hidden away. If there was a set of switches on the wall, each of them a color and a number designated to them with no other indicators as to what the switches did, which way would you choose to flip? Red 1, green 2, blue 3, black 4. I don't know what any of these switches do, and you're asking me if I flip one. I'm not gonna touch them until I figure out what the crap these switches do. Especially with a place where there's the lives of other people at stake, I'm not gonna flip a willy-nilly switch. Nah. Decision has been noted, your mark has been left. I'm too cautious for that. And what do I get this time? What are the words? Knowledge and power. Ooh. And that harks back to the Splatoon 3 Splatfest. And I choose Team Wisdom over Team Power. It was clear that Power was gonna win because the thirst trap that Ganondorf forced and the Shiver tryhards. I go for knowledge again. Suck it, Shiver tryhards. I was one as well. I'm sometimes at the Shiver group as well, so whatever. It's still fun to play the game. What do I get? A book of knowledge. I get an encyclopedia. It's interesting that you'd make a choice like that, Wanderer, especially considering how they're essentially the same thing. Yes, they are. Knowledge is power, but there's a difference. In our world, money has more power than wisdom. So, you can be the smartest person in the world. Yes, she loves you, or not. Now come, Wanderer. Come hither at once. For it is finally time to meet the demon that you've been chasing all this time. I already have the mirror body. But yeah, in our world money is power, and money does not always come with wisdom. Money does never really come with wisdom. I cannot talk right now. Let's go. Oh, that was... Let's go for her. Before you stand an old wooden door, let's creak through there. Upon a rotting house. The smell of mold fills the chamber you now reside in, unlike any that you've experienced before. There's an unmistakably overabundant dampness and an exuberant amount of humidity that hangs heavy in this room. To add to the already overwhelming amount of discomfort that this chamber brings, the sound of water constantly dripping from the ceiling and walls is enough to drive someone mad if given enough time. Various cobweb-caked crates of rotten, moldy ingredients rest in the kitchen floor. This crate seems to contain mixed grain. Cabbage! And this crate contains salt-preserved fish heads that have not been kept properly. And an odd mix of carrots and peppers. An old iron stove sits in the corner. It's fairly filthy, but well kept in terms of remaining intact and unbroken. Above the old stove contains a wall full of iron pots, pans, and various cooking utensils. Interestingly enough, the cooking utensils appear to be unused and in good condition, if not a bit dusty. The sink that sits against the wall is rusted and filthy. A sour stench rises from the drain and mixes with the smell of hanging garlic and herbs from the wall above. Old, crusty, stale and hardened bread sits in the countertop. Small jars of viscous liquid rests next to the bread. A tattered piece of parchment hangs on the wall containing ripped recipes for various meals. Below the parchment rests a butcher's block coated in blood. And an old dusty clock, greasy and grimy. 5:55. Oh, that does not look good. Broken glass with chunks of flesh and heaps of blood rests still on the old splintered oak table. Cobwebs clinging to the stool resting around the table, and the legs of the chair seems to be chewed apart by some small critter, adding to the degradation. An old painting of dark figures standing in front of a castle, sitting on the wall. The figures in the painting are faceless, yet you can feel them watching you as you gaze upon them. An ash-smudged map of lands you've never seen or heard of before rest on the wall. Nothing about the lands or travel routes seems familiar to you whatsoever. Oh. Hello there, I still have a token for you. And what do we get? When you're feeling pain, take the time to ponder what's hurting. Why is it hurting? What you've done to deserve it? and how you got in the position you're in. Life is trying to teach you a very valuable lesson. You will be forced to relearn this lesson over and over again if you don't take the time to learn properly the first time. You have paid tribute and received the blessing of wisdom. Cool. The sound of door unlocking. Oh, hi there, old man. An unworldly king sits alone at the decrepit wooden table, lost deep in thought. He pays no attention to you as you approach, yet he mumbles quietly to himself, just loud enough for you to make out a few words. The king's eyes shift violently towards the crystalline petal collection that you have acquired on your journey. The king fixates on the petals for a moment, then averts his gaze from yours as the room grows dark and still. Maybe I shouldn't have talked to you yet. I've been expecting you, wanderer. At long last, you've arrived. I presume you know very little of the petals you hold. Allow me to share with you the tale of how they came to be. There's a story of a lonely man who lives in a very lonely, dreary, grey world, for everything is dull, drab, and melancholy. The air bitter, the sky blackened. The dark sky looms and is filled with even darker clouds. The desolate land in which the man treads is nothing but flat and endless. There lies no clear direction to travel, no destination on the bleak landscape. The atmosphere encompassing this realm has a distinct void of purpose, and all who wander here are most certainly lost. The man walks through these fields each and every day alone, until one very special day in the middle of these dreary fields he discovers something full of color and life. Something vibrant, something which radiates a rare, special glow unlike anything he's ever seen before. He carefully approaches and looks down upon what seems to be causing this phenomena. Before him sits a flower. But not just any flower, mind you. No, this flower is special. This beautiful, intoxicating flower is unlike anything he's ever seen before. It radiates a positive energy, a powerful aura, and upon seeing this flower, the man feels instantaneously euphoric. He lays down next to the flower and admires its beauty, basking in the constant flow of energy that it gives off. He wonders, how can something with beauty such as this exist in a world engulfed in seemingly endless darkness and gloom? And with that, he spends as much time as he can with the flower, until the sun inevitably sets. And darkness begins to fall. It's time to go home. It's time to leave. It's time to say goodbye. The man crawls to his feet, dusts himself off with a few brushes of his attire, and feels noticeably happier than he did before coming upon the flower. He then walks home and enters his small, wood-built house, gets into his bed made of rough wool covers, and tries as best he can to get some sleep. As he closes his eyes, the last thought on his mind before slipping into unconsciousness is the flower. And the flower is what he dreams of on that night. When he awakes from his incredible dream of spending more time with the flower, he decides to get dressed and immediately return to the field in which he saw the thing that radiated such vibrance and beauty, hoping that it would still be there waiting for him. After traveling, he arrives in the field, and there the flower still remains. So the man happily lays down next to the flower once more, just as he had done the day before, and begins to enjoy the energy that the flower pours into him, admiring the petals endlessly. And then, darkness falls once more. The man begins to leave, but this time, less satisfied than before. He arrives at home, gets to bed, and tries to sleep, but this too offers a different experience than the previous night. As he closed his eyes, the man is restless. He's uncomfortable, he's perturbed, and he has a difficult time falling asleep because the flower that makes him so happy isn't with him anymore. The flower is somewhere else, in some field, growing in such a dark world all on its own. And he too is all on his own. The man begins to bellow and weep, until eventually he cries himself to sleep. He awakes in the morning, immediately gets dressed in whatever clothing he can find, and bolts out the door to the field, not slowing his pace even for a moment until he arrives. He leaps to the dirt floor and lays with the flower all day long, enjoying the energy that it radiates, just as he did the days prior. And just as the day prior had ended, the darkness falls once again. The story's getting kinda boring! The man gets up and begins to walk home, saddened and burdened with a heavy heart, but something calls him back. A feeling in the pit of his stomach, a hole in his heart. He turns and walks back to the flower, and he plucks it from the soil in which it has grown its entire life. He puts it into his pocket and hurries home excitedly. He lays in bed with a smile on his face and sets the flower on his pillow, which is now dying, by the way. He begins to admire the beauty of the petals like all night, and they continue to bring him so much joy, so much bliss that he had never had the pleasure of feeling before. The man is beyond content. For the first time in his life, in this dark, ugly world, the man is happy. For he now gets to spend all of his time with the flower, and he gets to enjoy it constantly, whenever and however he'd like, never having to say goodbye. As the days go on, they quickly turn to night, and the nights quickly turn back to days. After a week has passed and his heart is full to the brim, the man notices something about the flower that he hadn't realized before. The glow it once had has begun to fade. The color that was once so vibrant had begun to grow pale. That took a good while for a flower. The leaves that were once so lively and green had begun to wilt, and the stem which held it so high above the ground had become soft and started to rot. The flower was dying, and the man knew what was coming next. He watered it profusely, he nurtured it gingerly. The man did everything he could to save the flower from impending doom. That's why you should have uprooted the whole thing and not pluck it, because that just kills the plant. There's nothing you can do to save that thing anymore as far as I'm aware. Maybe you can actually. But in the end, as the days turned to weeks and the air grew colder and increasingly bitter, the flower lost its petals and the stem lost its color. The flower lost its energy, and then, as if all of the happiness in the world had been sucked out and blown like ashes to the wind, the flower died. The man lamented, he wailed, he cried tears heavy to match the burden and pain within his heart. For the only thing that ever made him happy in life, or had ever filled that void within himself, was now gone. And the man knew deep within his soul that it was never coming back. He killed the thing that he loved and treasured so dear because he wanted and craved it so badly. He wanted it for himself. His selfishness, his greed, his possession killed the flower, and he would never know happiness again. I killed her. I killed her vibrance, her beauty, her radiant energy. I plucked her from what she needed to grow and be herself. Like a candle burning in a windswept corridor, I carelessly snuffed out the flame that once shone so bright and lit the way to a better, brighter, happier future for all. Instead of enjoying my flower for what she was, instead of being appreciative of the time I had with her, I couldn't have just been content with the circumstances. I plucked her from the very last source that she needed in order to flourish and grow. I sought to possess her, and in turn, I lost her. Forever. My flower was no longer what she once was when I came to know her, but instead left as an empty, soulless husk of a former self. And now, so too am I. Yep. If only I sought to appreciate rather than possess, she would still bless this world with her radiant beauty. My beautiful, unique, rare little flower. The only thing that ever brought me joy. And now I sit, alone. All alone. Atop my throne of nothing. A crown atop my head of emptiness. Only to match my heart. Isn't it funny? If I had not been so selfish, I could have had it all. But because all is what I wanted, nothing is what I've got. I deserve my emptiness. I implore you to heed my warning, for if you make the same mistakes that have brought me this life of misery, then you will surely deserve the same fate that hath begotten this old, bitter, lonely king. Now leave your petals upon the table. Walk away from them once and for all. Leave them with me before they consume your soul too. Well then, I'm gonna leave my petals here on the table. You scrunch together all of your crystalline petals and place them gently on the wooden table before the king. They begin to shake, tremble, and form into shapes before your very eyes. Whoopsie! You are wise beyond your years. I mean, I turned 30. But thanks. You are smarter and better than I ever could have hoped to be. Our fates will not be shared on this day. Cool, I'm gonna go through this door then. Well, actually. Hold on. Fresh, delicate flowers sit atop the table. They give off a sickly sweet aroma that's rather intoxicating. Can't help but feel better when being near them. Yeah, but I'm also gonna be fine once I go away from them. Because flowers are a beautiful thing that is best enjoyed alive, not cut. You can hear fire crackling in the distance and feel the warmth its flame provides. The room smells clean and pure as though it's been well maintained and actively lived in. Well, oh, there's the fire. A piece of parchment hangs on the wall. It contains a list of names you've never heard of. Strangely, all of the names appear to be written upside down. Cool! The fireplace rages on, yet the cobwebs around it cling tightly and refuse to burn. There's no way that the fireplace could stay lit for a long period of time with the current state it's in. Someone has been here recently. An old painting of a man with a distorted face rests on the stone wall. His eyeballs appear to be plucked out of his head and rests on the table in front of him. Rested? The painting is tilted. The Watcher. Cool. Oh hi, King Teddy! A stone chair is positioned tightly against the wall. In the seat sits a peculiar figure. It remains idle, yet you get the sense that it's watching every move you've decided to make. Something rests in the hand of the figure. I'm gonna inspect the hand. Inspect the hands of the figure and discover that it's holding a small coin. Oh. I never said that I'm gonna take the... Anyway. Sorry. Royal tapestry hangs on the wall. It's obviously seen better days. Sorry! I did not mean to take your frippin' coin. Hi there, what the crud? A statue of an unholy figure stands tall before you. It radiates a dark energy and emits great heat from within its molten belly. Toss all of your coins into the belly of the statue. Oh, that's the clock. 7:06. The hands emit a faint purple glow. I could toss my coins in there. I don't know if I'm interested in tossing all my coins in there though. This seems to be like end game-ish. So you know what? I hope that's not. If that's resetting me, I'm gonna shoot something. You toss your wisdom tokens into the belly of the beast. Hear a dark voice echo from the walls of your mind. You've come this far. Take a good hard look in the mirror and you deserve to know the truth. You've earned your reflection. Oh. And you'll get exactly what you deserve. Oh, nice. I get what I deserve. Am I gonna get shot in the face? Am I gonna get burned alive since I said that's a horrible way to die? Fresh fruits sit in a bowl on the table table beneath some tattered tapestry. The fruit seems like it was just picked and washed this morning. There's no sign of bugs or pests looming in the bowl, and no signs of rot or decay. Nice, I'm gonna have some of that later. An old plaque rests on the wall with various names chiseled into it. Yeah, only 4 names on the plaque that you can see. 3 of them are names you've never heard before, and the final name is yours. Oh, cool, thanks. It's the Watcher.
This is it, Wanderer. This is what you've been waiting for. Every decision you've made has led you to this moment. Now, gaze upon the mirror and tell me what you see.
I see you at the moment. You look cool! Pressed against the walls, it's a mystical mirror swelling with radiant magics. You can see many different images contorting themselves within the twisted nether. Would you like to look deeper into the mirror and see your reflection? Gaze upon it! Let's see what the crud's going on here. Mirror, mirror, show to thee what secrets have been hidden from me. Show me weakness, show me strength, describe in detail, tell in length. Show me what I've been afraid to see, show me who I'm afraid to be. Show me everything, reflect it's true. Show me why I've come to you. Fucking crawl text! Sorry. You gaze deeply into the mirror at your own reflection. What it reflects back at you are the answers you seek. Is the answer that I'm seeking that my slight dyslexia is fucking horrible with crawl texts? Deep within the mirror a reflection is formed. It is revealed to you the reflection of the goblet. Okay. The story of the goblet is an interesting one for many reasons. It's said that long ago there lived an old woman in the woods. She lived on her own, tucked away in secret from the world. Her home was a cabin that she had built herself. The food she ate was harvested, foraged and hunted herself, and the water she drank was from the well she had dug herself. The old woman was completely and successfully self-reliant, separated from the outside world. Now, as impressive as this feat was, this wasn't what the old woman was best known for. No, there was something much greater than that. She was known to possess a golden goblet of great power that was said to hold her life force and energy within it. A vessel of her very being, so to speak. One day a man came crawling to her doorstep with bloodied hands and ravaged legs. He scratched at her small wooden door begging for aid. The woman heard his plea for help and rose from a chair next to the fire, walked across her creaky wooden floor and answered the door gingerly. When she saw the state of her unexpected visitor, she grabbed hold of the man and pulled him inside of her cabin, set him next to the fire, gathered water from her well, and prepared food from her storage in an attempt to nurse him back to health. After he had eaten and drank until his belly was full, he was able to talk without struggling to breathe. He told her that he had been attacked by a pack of wolves in the forest and that he feared his legs were too damaged to continue on his journey. He also mentioned that he had to get through the woods by tomorrow evening, or else he would miss his delivery for the king and would surely be tossed into prison, or worse. So the old woman went to her cupboard and reached for a prized possession, the golden goblet, wrapped in silken cloth that helped keep it hidden away. She grabbed another cup for the man and placed it within the palms of his hands. As she tilted the goblet, a mystical liquid surged forth, filling the man's cup. The woman told the man to drink, and he obeyed. Within a moment, the man's wounds had fully healed, as if no harm had befallen him. In disbelief, the man leapt into the air, joyously celebrating this occasion and thanking the woman with all of his heart. The woman told the man that he must leave now if he were to make his delivery date on time, but not to say a word to anyone about what had transpired in the woods. The man agreed and went on his way. Not a week later, when the woman was watering a garden, a young maiden came galloping up to the woman's house on horseback. She leapt from her horse and carried the child tenderly in her arms. The old woman looked puzzled until the maiden spoke. Are you the woman of the woods? The one with the magical goblet? Came a shrill voice from the unknown visitor. The old woman's heart sunk deep within her chest at the sound of the maiden's question. My daughter is gravely ill, and will surely die without your aid, the maiden pleaded with tears in her eyes. The old woman was so angry that the man had broken his promise and shared the secret she kept so well hidden. But there was no time for anger and resentment in such a dire time like this. The child looked sickly and her breath was shallow. Death was nearing, and they had to act quickly if they were going to save her. So the woman beckoned the maiden into her home as she retrieved her goblet once more. She grabbed the wooden cup from her cupboard and poured the mystical liquid from the goblet until the cup was full, and put it to the child's lips. As the child drank, within moments she sprang to life, healthier than she had ever been. The maiden thanked the woman profusely, and all the old woman said in return was this: Do not tell anyone what transpired on this day. Do not tell anyone of my goblet. The maiden agreed and promised that she wouldn't. She will. A month went by without word from the man or the maiden, and no visitors had come to the old woman's cabin, until one day, in the middle of winter, caravans approached. Out from the caravans, sickly people flooded the ground surrounding the old woman's cabin, coughing and wheezing and begging for aid. The plague had struck, hundreds had fallen ill, and many more were dying. The old woman was so incredibly furious that the promises had been broken once again. But there was no time for anger or resentment, as people needed saving. So the woman retrieved her goblet and gathered all of the wooden cups she had in her room, and poured and poured and poured until every sickly person had been saved. Give me a second there. Need to water myself. And then each and every one of them disappeared into the cold winter's night, with a thank you and another promise of secrecy that surely would not be kept. With so many people, you should move. But only a single night later, the old woman sat alone in her cabin and began to feel feverish herself. For the plague had hit her hard, and she surely caught the devil's cough from those she was saving. She quickly went to her cupboard to retrieve her goblet once again, just as she had done for those she had helped so many times before. She grabbed herself a cup and tilted the goblet above it, but this time nothing poured from the vessel. Her cup had been drained of all of its power, of all of its use, and there was nothing left for the old woman when she needed it herself. The woman did not make it but a few hours before she fell to the ground, spewing blood from her lips with her cold, dead fingers wrapped around her empty cup, and no one ever visited the woman in the woods ever again. The reflection of the goblet represents someone who pours and pours and pours from their own cup in order to fill others around them, but is quickly drained as no one seems to fill their cup in return. You must remember that you cannot pour from an empty cup. It's a wonderful thing to help others when they need it, and it might be very difficult for you to say no when someone asks for your help, but you must learn that it's okay to be selfish sometimes. As a matter of fact, you must be selfish at times, because taking time and energy for yourself is not selfish at all. It's a requirement for your own health and benefit in order to continue helping others. Did it just break? I think that is where we left off. If you're constantly pouring your reserves into other people's cups until your cup is finally empty, you won't last the winter, and if you don't last the winter, you can't help anyone anymore, now can you? So don't feel guilty for saying no, and try to recognize when people are just there to take advantage of you. Remember, once the old woman had helped people and they no longer needed her assistance, they never returned. They were only there because they needed something, and if they didn't need anything from her and couldn't get anything from her, it was as if she no longer existed. I'm gonna break this down in a moment because I have some opinions on what you're trying to tell me there. Be wary of who you say yes to, and always keep some energy reserves to yourself. You must learn to put yourself first when you truly need it, so you can continue to help others when they need it as well. Let the reflection of the goblet be a warning, as well as a blessing for you in life and allow it to guide you towards a healthier and more sustainable future. You deserve that much for all you do, and even more. I'm gonna break it down right here because I feel like we're going somewhere else here. The story is about a woman that goes into the forest and wants to be by herself. Nobody knows about it. Someone randomly stumbles into her hut and she decides to help them because they're in need. And then she tells them to not talk to anyone about this and anything. They wanna be left alone. That's essentially what they tell them. Then time goes by, the lady is completely fine by herself. One other person comes there with a direct request. She helps them and then tells them the same thing. Don't talk to anyone, leave me alone. And then nothing happens for a month. The lady is alone for a month. Nothing happens. Then they all come because of a plague. And they know there is someone that can help them. So they go there, help them, and then the lady tells them to go and leave her alone. Of course nobody was gonna come and make sure she's alright if she doesn't wanna have anyone there with her. I'm sorry, this tale isn't as cut and dry as you make it out to be, because if the lady would be like, okay, hey, come by whenever you want or something, or just check on me from time to time. No, the lady is, as far as the story goes, pretty vehement about being left alone. Nobody would check on her and see if she's alright because she doesn't want anyone to go looking for her. It's technically her own fault to begin with. She helps the people because she feels she needs to, which there's a lot to unpack with. Should you help everyone without a reason? Can you help everyone? That's a different thing. But if you tell the people to leave you alone and not come for you, nobody will go and check on you. Even if they're deeply thankful and would love to help you out, they're not gonna come because you helped them and they are thankful that you helped them and they wanna respect your wish until a bad situation happens and they only have one person to turn to. She kinda brought it upon herself. I'm sorry. This is not the kind of story that you think it is. Okay? Because there's a different thing with you live in a normal society with everyone around you and people just know, hey, you are there always helping, and you just let yourself get drained like that, and people don't come to you even though you live in a normal established society with them, and people just can come to you whenever but choose not to. In this situation, the lady does not wanna have anyone come to her. This is not as cut and dry as you think it is. I repeat this statement again. Anyway, let's go on. Your secret word is goblet. Remember this word, for it will benefit you greatly if you decide to use it. Sorry, this last portion here made me greatly upset.
Sometimes the mirror reflects something within your soul, and sometimes the mirror reflects the reverse of what resides inside of you. Both factors are of equal value. It is up to you to interpret whether your reflection shows your reality or the reverse of it, wanderer. So pay heed and listen to my words, for the mirror never lies. I will free you from the confines of this place once and for all. You are free to do as you please from this point onward. I will wish you the best of luck on your journey forward, wanderer. It is now time for you to do some reflection of your very own.
The mirror is full of shit. You have discovered 7 out of 7 deadly sins. Nice. You have discovered 0 out of 23 No, I probably discovered all of them. I just wasn't gonna tear them apart because the sign in the beginning told me that I should smush them, and I to myself thought, I'm not gonna do that. Fuck you. And then in the end the game told me with a page that these are other wonders that wanted to be erased. So fuck you for that as well. That was not okay. You have discovered 7 out of 7 artifacts, 6 out of 8 relics. I'm fine with that. There are far more hidden secrets left for you to uncover, but this particular journey must end here. Your results has been based on many different variables and may vary with each playthrough depending on a multitude of factors. There are 5 separate endings to discover and many hidden secrets littered throughout each room that can only be found by clever exploration. We hope you enjoyed your experience and have learned a little more about how your brain works when presented with various scenarios and options to choose from. Take the secret word we assigned and the advisor. I am done with these types of games now and with the questionnaires. They were fun. It's a lot of fun and I love the reflective thing that's going on. I love going through like quizzes, questions and all of that with you because it is. I'm not gonna read that. Oh, it's the same thing that we had at the end of all of them. They're still well made. There's a big interesting thing to that. There's a lot that you can learn about yourself. There's the space with Markiplier. Fun. Love that one. But first of all, the crawls are absolute no-go for me. And I'm pretty sure people that have dyslexia and just try to get through this game probably hated all of the crawl texts as well. I'm fine with them being for end credits, but for something that is essential probably in terms of story for the game, don't do that, it's horrible. Because the stress of having to read something before it disappears off the screen makes me not able to read that, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person that has that problem. So it's not cool. But it's over. It only took 1 hour and 10 minutes, so I'm happy about that. So I have 1 hour left that I still can do with whatever I want for this video. I'm not gonna sit here for an hour and just riz away. But yeah, that were the test games, the testing chamber and the first 3 games. They're really good, they're interesting, they all got longer the further you went ahead. This one was the longest one and also the one that kind of infuriated me the most at the end there. But overall, they are nice, they're interesting, they have some cool ideas to them, and especially there's something that brought together a huge community. With this game, just one little thing that I would love to tweak, and that is the text crawl, because but it's stylized and that's okay. So overall, I enjoyed the experience a lot and it was a lot of fun. And I'm also really happy to finally be done with all of the testing games, because I already have ideas for 3 other kinds of videos that I wanna do. So now it's on to them. But yeah, I can only recommend you go and play those games for yourself, because again, each playthrough is different and you will get your own secret words, you will have your own experience throughout all of them. So why not go through and take a few weird and abstract tests. See you next time. Bye.